Okay, so it said to graph this, which was y is equal to negative 2x squared plus 5x plus 33. So all I did was put it into my calculator, went to the table, and there was an exact symmetry because apparently the vertex isn't an integer value, but I found one of the x-intercepts, and then I went until I found past the other one. The other one's not visible either. And I just graphed all those points, so here they are. I decided to count by 1s on the x-axis and by 3s on the y. And I just graphed those points, and here they are. Part A says for what values of x is y equal to 0. So that means what are the x-intercepts, right, when y is equal to 0. So we already knew one of them. We knew one of them was negative 3. But the other one wasn't clear in the table here. But either way, if we want to find the x-intercepts, we're going to set y equal to 0. So I took this equation, I set y equal to 0. Now I used a little trick here. I know one of the x-intercepts is negative 3, so I want to solve this by factoring. I could have completed the square, but factoring is easier if you can. I knew one of them is negative 3, so that means I know one of the factors is x plus 3. I don't know the other one. But I'm going to use the same trick as I used in one of the last problems. If I know the factor is x plus 3, what two numbers need to go here so that the first term is negative 2x squared and the last term is plus 33? Well, this one needs to be a negative 2x, and this one needs to be a plus 11. Right? And that will ensure that the first term is negative 2x and the second term is plus 33. And now I know to solve this, either x plus 3 has to be equal to 0, so x needs to be negative 3, or I could set this equal to 0. Negative 2x plus 11, that could be 0 as well. And if I solve that, I get that the other solution is divided by negative 2, I get 5.5. So that's the other x-intercept, which matches my graph here, 5.5. So there's the two x-intercepts. So there you go. Part C I'm going to go to next. It says, for what values of x is y greater than 0? Greater than or equal to 0? Well, these are the values of x where y is 0. So all of these are where the y is greater than 0. So that's anything in this interval. From here over to here. So any of these x values, the y is greater than 0, and these x values are negative 3 and 5.5. So I have x between negative 3 and 5.5. So all the x values that are greater than or equal to negative 3 or less than or equal to 5.5. So part B. Part B was the hardest one, I think. So for what values of x is y equal to 21? So that means we have to put 21 in for y. Now we've got to solve this equation. Can't do it by factoring, or else it's not easy. So I just did it by completing the square. I subtracted 21 from both sides to first get it equal to 0. It's just a standard way to start. Now I want to divide everything by negative 2. So I'm dividing each of these terms by negative 2 here, including this side. But that becomes 0, which gets me the x squared coefficient of 1. Now I need to get this 6 to the other side, right? So I just have this. And now I need to figure out what could I add to this to get this to be a perfect square. Well, you take half of this, which is 1.25, and square it, and I got 1.5625. I added that to both sides and got 7.5625 equals this. And then this is a perfect square, so I did x minus 1.25 squared equals 7.5625. Take the square root of both sides. Apparently the square root of this is either, you could do the positive, it's 2.75, or negative 2.75. And by solving these two equations, I got the x values to be 4 or negative 1.5.